Films Inc. presents a timeline story when I started my talk show. So we are at Season 1, Episode 2 of the Timeline Stories. Today's timeline story will be about when I started this talk show. Now, many of you seen me tell you about my talk show when I first started. Season 7, Episode 13, which you guys might not already know. But here's some more info about it that you guys missed because I wasn't at YouTube at the time. The very first episode that I created was on July 31st last year. So yesterday was the anniversary of it. And I created this talk episode yesterday, not yesterday, in July, and here's what I first did. I thought since I had the iCloud photo sharing, I could do more than one episode every day. So one episode and then stop recording and do a second part of it, which would be episode 2. Just because I had iCloud at the time, and iCloud had the 5-minute time frame. Because as you know, iCloud still has that time frame, so it's best if we do it that way. Or you can do it 2 parts. So, and I started this talk show, and it was a pretty good talk show. And some of the things that I've discussed in one of my recent episodes I've done recently, discussing how I just chat about. Sometimes I go over what happened, but if I did something cool, I might add that to it. Or if I did something that I want to say in there, I will add that. Sometimes I might talk about something in there, here or there. I might share something. And I also like, sometimes when I do those episodes, I sometimes chat. I also linger on about the Go Animate staff, since they've been kind of going a little too far. And I have talked about how they should improve on that, because really they shouldn't be doing any of that stuff they've been doing since 2016 when they first started their bad thing. And of course, that's what I talked about in yesterday's show, about them removing the Ivona voices. But anyway, I also have been chatting about how I wish I had a YouTube account when I didn't have one, about how awesome it would have been. Well, I have one now, but I'm just saying, when I didn't have one and I started the talk show. And I also did a little bit of subjects on the radio, and I did a little bit of subjects chatting about different things, but during about September or the October time, I pretty much extended it because I got Splice, and I shared it to GoPro.com, because again, I didn't have a channel on YouTube. And when I shared it to GoPro, there wasn't any time limits, or time frames, should I say. So I thought it would be nice, because I could extend it a little bit more, because I thought, why the heck not? And when I extended it, I thought it was pretty nice, because they wouldn't have to look at the time most of the time. I might look at the time to see how much I've been taping for, but I don't worry much about those limits as I did when I had my iCloud. Well, I still use photo sharing, but when I started uploading them a lot in my shared albums, or should I say my iCloud shared album, and I had to show I also did something cool, and that was, I started something new where I would make up words to songs. So I would play a song on the recorder, a recording device I showed in my other timeline story. And what I would do in that thing is I would play a song and then make up words to it and try to make sure the singing doesn't go in there, because there's obviously, like, when I made up the Spooky Scary Skeleton song, I had to make sure it wouldn't hear it singing, but if it was just something that didn't have any words at all, I would just make that up for the randomness of it, because why not? That way it'll be a little entertaining, because some things can be boring to some people, so I want to make sure that it suits the folks best for their viewing pleasure. And as we all know, I started that show and I've continued it since that time, and just think in a few months it'll be a year since I started this show, so that will be great. Even though it'll be the end of summer, because that's summer. It'll be the end of summer, because that's when I started the show. Because I thought I would do something different, because I just thought I'd do something new, of course. And, when I would also add scary logos, like sometimes I do, like the 20th Century Fox and the Nintendo. And as you guys know, yesterday I added the GameCube startup, even though it's not a scary logo, but still it's an intro. And then I also would just think of anything to say, and then I would just bring them up, because I didn't know, sometimes I wouldn't know anything to bring up in one of my stuff anymore, which kind of is stupid. But that's how it is, it's how it is. So, who cares? If you think of anything, great. I also sometimes like to chat about text-to-speech videos I find. Like if I want to talk about a certain video, like LTIB, which stands for Looney Tunes Intro Bloopers. Which is another good thing I like to watch on the internet, is those Looney Tunes Intro Bloopers and text-to-speech videos, as you might see on my liked playlist that I like to watch it. And I thought it was cool, because if you go to my liked playlist on my channel playlist, you'll see that I like to watch some text-to-speech videos that people make on, so but that's basically about what my talk show episode. And sometimes also my show episodes, sometimes I would get called in my talk show episodes, so I had to stop and just, sometimes it would cut off, and so if I get a call, then I'll have to start back up. And then I also, another subject that I talked about in one of my shows is I would also bring up updates such as things that will happen in the future, and some other things that people should be informed of, that they might want to know more about. And I also, there was one time during the November time when I tried to do my talk show using Speakit, and you know what Speakit is. That's how I did my rant series on. That's how you heard the acapella Ryan's voice, because that app has a voice from the acapella group. But that obviously didn't work, because here's why: the limits. Speak It has a limit for characters for creating an audio file. So if you create an audio file more than 1,000 words, you would see a message that would come up that say you couldn't create an audio file. Which I thought, really? So you're not going to let me create an audio file. So you're just going to let me just do just something different, I guess. Because I thought it'd be good if I could create that audio file and speak it instead of, that all the time. And because why the heck not? Because it'd be good. Because why the heck not would I do? And that's basically that story. Because I do chat about that. And another thing that if I had something else to say about the Staff of Gale anime, I would just say it in the show. Like, how they should improve in not always taking stuff down. Because as we all know, it doesn't seem to be great that they get to do that. Also, this year, I've been doing a little bit different on my shows. What I do now is showing things like in the 2 episodes ago, I was showing a review on Windows 10. Because I had I was close to my computer, so I thought I might as well turn it on and do a little review on that operating system. And the last episode that I uploaded yesterday, I was reviewing my walkie-talkies, which you guys can go see after watching this if you want. And I chatted a little bit about those walkie-talkies. And I gave a little talk on it, showing what you can do on it, all that stuff. And that's why the talk show is a little different from what I did before. So I've done a lot of changes to my shows lately. The episodes I've done lately. And just changing them all up differently and just changed it because that way I could just because I couldn't do my text show. I thought I should have done it and speak it because I would like that. Also, I started doing something where sometimes, like, I'd talk about. One time I was chatting about how I'm playing the Bop It, because I play the Bop It, the Star Wars Bop It, and I have the Star Wars Bop It right there. And I discuss how good I am playing with the Bop It, because I'm a good player with the Bop It. I should show you guys how talented I am playing with that Bop It, because you can really see how good I can play the Bop It when I play it. You'd all love that, wouldn't you? Yes, you would. Because me and the Bop It, I think it's pretty fun to play the Bop It. Because I like to play, and I would talk about my Bop It on my show, just saying how I play it. And I also talk about my other channel, Drew and Bryce. The channel me and my cousin have. Which you can check out that channel on YouTube, because we have a second channel. Me and Drew have a second. We have that. But yeah, but that's a little.
14
but
minutes. Speed
that's
off.
all about my talk show that I've been doing ever since. So yeah, my talk show I thought was very fun to do. Especially because, like, why not? You want to do something. So I thought, I'm going to go up and I'm going to start this series up. So I just go and talk about some things. And when I started this series, I kind of gave a little brief detail about this series. And what I would do in the series. Some people don't understand what to expect in a series when time passes. because you don't want to just go into a series and not understand what that thing is all about. Now, I think the show's been pretty awesome, of course, and I hope you guys think it is too, because the show is quite great. Yes, it is. Because I have, like I said, I've had this show for quite a while, so even though I wasn't having this channel up, but I still had this for a long time, so. Well, yeah, that's my story about my timeline story about this talk series. So if you like this video, make sure you subscribe for more. Hit that like button and like it.